What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle for the first episode of This Is the Police. This is an interesting little game. If you like games like Valhalla, or you like games that are kind of like Papers, Please, I think you'll probably like This Is the Police. It's a narrative-based game in which you take control of a police commissioner who is on his way out due to a corruption scandal. And so anyways, you've got a choice to run your police department however you want for a half a year to maximize your profits and make as much money as possible, or be a good guy and try to arrest all the bad guys as best as possible. Kind of an interesting concept for a game. It's got a little bit of a noir, it has a little bit of a noir vibe, and so I think people are really going to get into this one. Without further ado, I'm sure you guys are here to see the game, so let's go ahead and play for a little bit, shall we? Let's see, Mayor Rogers, sex maniac? You can tell they got the question mark at the end, which means every single sentence has to go upwards. Sex maniac? Would you like a sandwich? City Hall confirms rumors of Jack Boyd's resignation. Mark War II to be shown in Freiburg the day before worldwide premiere, but by the mayor's personal request. You read this stuff because it gives you a rough idea of what's going on in the city. But for right now, none of it's really entirely thematic. It's just stuff you should probably be aware of.
When I was a kid, my father sometimes told me at bedtime that if I closed my eyes and didn't open them for a long time, all the demons would blow away. Yesterday I turned 60, but I still take his advice. Not because I'm sentimental or want to keep the memory of my father alive. I just can't think of a better solution. To get away from all the demons that haunt Freiburg, I'd need to wear a blindfold 24/7. Plus, it's a good idea to act blind when talking to reporters. At least that's what my colleagues say. They're afraid of press conferences. But for me, it's more like a confessional. No matter what lies you tell, you're privately thinking the honest answers. It helps me remember who I am. The fact that I'll be reading all about it in the papers tomorrow is a small price to pay. Call it penance for the preacher. This is the first time I'm afraid of those answers my mind has given me. Not because I'm mad I'm losing my job. Though it's true, I'm mad as hell. Not because I subconsciously blame everyone else. Though I damn sure do blame them. And don't even ask me what my next move is. I can't imagine. But even that doesn't scare me. The worst thing is, I know I'm gonna have to do something. And I'll be damned if I know how far I'll go. I may have a lot of vices, but predictability isn't one of them. I learned a long time ago how to drive away the swarming demons. But what do you do when they're trying to rip your soul from your skin? Shutting my eyes tight as I can. The best solution remains the same: play blind. I just hope the reporters think I was blinded by the camera flash.
Alright, so welcome to our first press conference. These come up every now and again. You gotta hang out and talk to the press. Say, good morning. Yesterday, the mayor's office officially announced your resignation. Did this come as a surprise, or did you know about it in advance? Well, I mean, we don't know right now because you'll figure out the storyline as the game goes along, but for right now, you kind of just have to go with it. That's a surprise to me. I thought I'd be working as a policeman for another 5-10 years. I just want to serve the city, and so I was very surprised, of course. Do you already know the name of your successor? No. Of course not. I don't think the mayor's office knows exactly who it is either. After the recent corruption scandal, your deputy, Francis Kendrick, said he'd soon be voluntarily resigning. If the mayor offered him your position, would that change his mind? It's possible. Well, I'd be happy, actually. He's my friend, right? It's hard to say, but I can't think of a more deserving candidate than Captain Kendrick. Although Kendrick was acquitted, many still believe that the police are cooperating with the mafia. You have anything to say about this? I don't know. I've never worked with the mafia, but I can't speak for every man and woman in the department, and I can't follow all my employees around the clock. Do you think your personal relationship with the mayor could be the reason behind your retirement? Definitely not. It's just not possible. Mayor Rogers is a true professional. He makes his decisions very carefully. There's no place in our job for hard feelings. Thank you.
How's the back today, Mr. Boyd?
Same as usual.
How did the press conference go?
You can read about it in the newspapers tomorrow. Don't let anyone in.
Even Mr. Kendrick?
Especially Mr. Kendrick. As soon as I heard the door creak, I knew what face I'd see. When I tell Emma not to let anyone in, there's only one man it could be. Rude, arrogant, no warning. That's Mayor Rogers in a nutshell. White summer shoes, white socks, white shorts, white polo shirt, and the white smile of a hungry shark. Mayor Rogers enters every room like he owns the place. Even the floorboards under his feet sound like they're creaking an apology. He never shied away from the odd corruption scheme. It's like the devil walks behind him. In the movies, the villains controlling the city play golf with the judges. Rogers plays tennis with them instead. That's about the only difference.
Jack, I was hoping to catch you after the press conference. You ran away so quick.
There's no smoking at City Hall. No reason for me to hang around.
Well, this morning I signed a ban on smoking in all public buildings. Soon you won't be able to smoke here either.
Soon enough I won't be here at all.
That's what I wanted to talk to you about. The people of this city like you, Jack. The police chief of all people. Don't betray that, Jack. Don't get wrapped up in any schemes. Sit nice and quiet for the next 180 days, and you'll be remembered as a hero. That's the only thing that you still have left. Be the hero.
Then how am I supposed to scrape together a retirement fund?
You had a million chances to secure a luxury pension, one that even I would have envied, although I've never set aside any money for myself. I'm not planning to retire anytime soon. "180 days of quiet, Jack. That's all I need. I don't have any problems with you, and you won't have any problems with me. I have a new assistant, Troy Starr. If you have something to tell me, call him. But try not to bother him. He's a busy man."
I'll do my best.
"And quit smoking at the office. One of my friends will be using it soon."
I'm sorry, babe. Only the mayor has this number. Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, is this Troy Starr?
Yes?
Go fuck yourself, Troy Starr.
What if I'm actively doing that to somebody else right now? Can I just, like, substitute? Is that cool? I just want to know if I got a little bit of wiggle room here. Head of Culture Department owns a villa in Italy. Jack Boyd confirms police cooperation with the mafia. I don't think I confirmed anything. Next police chief is still unknown. I'm pretty sure I didn't confirm that, but sure, you know what? Let the press... It's called The Fact. I mean, how honest could a newspaper called The Fact be? Man, we got to work on that paycheck. That car ain't sounding
Cops
so
don't
good.
use the police station cafeteria anymore. There's some kind of stigma against sitting shoulder to shoulder with your partners. Everybody just takes snacks from the machines or grabs a meal and hammers it down in the corner like a vulture on a corpse. The main thing? Don't look into anyone's eyes. Could be construed as an invitation to sit together. The only people eating here are ghosts. My deputy, Francis Kendrick. He recently became one of those ghosts. The subject of one of the most devastating corruption scandals in the history of Freeburg. No evidence to support the accusations, but everyone knows Kendrick's days are numbered. I need that file I asked for. Needs to be ready tonight. Francis didn't say anything, but I understood. Ghosts aren't supposed to talk. Besides, I got a feeling he was already finished.
Why is everybody on this police force like 100 years old? Would you like to receive tips about how the game works? Sure, you can throw them up there if you want. So Freeburg PD organizes the upcoming work assignments into shifts for today and tomorrow. Every shift, the officers will respond to the crimes in progress, and detectives continue investigations. You can freely move employees between shifts. All officers and detectives possess several important characteristics. Professionalism is this number right here, and it's how good your cop is. The better the number is, the more likely they are to come home. If that number is really, really low, you probably don't want to send them to like a shootout or anything like that. You want to send the good cops. And then it goes up and down based on their performance and how things happen. This over here is the energy. It's how tired your cops are. It adds a little error. It adds a margin of error to their efficiency. So you can have a really, really good cop who's got amazing stats up here, but his energy is so low that he's fallen asleep on the job and he just can't keep his head straight. And so bad things will happen. Your employees will not tell you everything. For example, some additional characteristics will be hidden from view. For instance, some cops are lazy and will come up with any reason they can think of to take the day off, while others will drink too much. You can only guess about these things, but you should be able to draw your own conclusions based on the behavior of your employees. So we've started with a reasonable. So we've got Officer Kochi, who's our best officer, Yancey, who's up there, Purdy, who's up there, Subaki, who's kind of average, Austin, who's not that great, and Price, who's absolutely miserable. We've got Detective Mole, which if that's not foreboding, I don't know what is. I mean, all of our detectives look a little skeevy except for Armstrong. This guy definitely looks like he's part of the mafia. This lady's name is Mole, and so while she looks otherwise all right, I'm pretty sure she's working for somebody because her last name's Mole. It is what it is. I don't trust a detective named Mole. Welcome to the day. So responding to calls is the bread and butter of police work. You'll need to send your officers to a crime scene before the timer expires. Marks on the map will show where the call came from, and the farther away it is, the longer it takes officers to travel back and forth. So people will be tied up. So we've got a call right here at the Everyday Mall. It's a hit and run. The easiest way to determine how difficult a task is just to check how many officers can be deployed. If the if the job is seriously difficult, you can send SWAT if you want, but you're going to have to send officers as well. And so, the number of slots is not the only thing to consider. Any available information from the location of the crime scene to the presence of weapons and so on. All of this can tell you how seriously each case should be taken. A mission might look simple at first glance until it turns into a brutal meat grinder. A serious call could come in which turns out to be a false alarm. So a married couple exited a convenience store and saw a van in the parking lot back over a homeless man who had been digging through a trash can. The driver jumped out to help, but got back in the van and quickly left once he saw that he'd hit a bum. Alright, let's send Subaki and Price. This should be simple enough. And so as you can see, they get kind of like a little World of Warcraft or like a little MMO cooldown thing going on. Over here, we've got a fight at the Last Picture Show Theater. A theater manager reports that during a showing of Citizen Kane, a drunk man attempted to force his way into the theater carrying a snowboard decorated with the word Rosebud. When he was denied entry, he violently attacked the cashier and is currently fighting with the theater's security guard. Alright, send Purdy, and then send... just send Purdy. We'll run a little light on the shift right now. I don't think it's going to be that bad. I like this jam session we got going on right here. Alright, so the report from the hit and run. When everything goes well, the police capture the criminals and nobody dies, but the fact is, sometimes they try to escape. Try to avoid any dead cops or civilians, though. Dead cops will hurt your roster, and dead citizens bother the mayor even more than living ones. The offender escaped, officers unharmed, and so they lose professionality because that didn't work out. We didn't have enough professionality to get the job done. It's to be expected. We sent Price, who's like 1 trillion years old and goes to work on a dinosaur's back, so, you know, what are you going to do? Offender escaped from Purdy as well. Officer unharmed, civilians unharmed. So we probably want to bring our game up right now. We're not having a good day. We're not having a good day. With an armed robbery, 3 teenagers armed with a shotgun have robbed a videotape store and made off with their whole collection of adult movies. The criminals fled in a car, but the store manager wrote down the car's license plate. The officer or the owner is one Janet Brown who lives in the suburbs. Send Yancey and Kochi. I'm sorry, and Austin. We're going to give this one a minute and see if we can get somebody off the beat real fast to help out with it. We got time. Send Kochi and Tsubaki. Johnson, Jurgen, and Kat's law firm, a brother and sister, clash with each other over their deceased father's will. According to one of the lawyers, we don't dare separate them, and the hospital guard is off duty tonight. All right, let's send some people out here. A passerby saw some teenagers attack an elderly musician, then run away with his guitar and his money. Alright, send Purdy and... Well, who else do we have that's not on the job right now? I mean, I think everybody's on the job. When your cops aren't sure how to proceed, they might contact you and act how to handle the situation. Try to deal with whatever comes up, but don't waste all your time on it. You have plenty of other problems on your plate. The vehicle in question is parked outside the Brown residence. The sounds of moans and loud laughter can be heard through the living room window. We'll knock on the door as they open up. Police. I mean, I suppose we could turn on the siren loudspeaker, shout the house is surrounded, but is it actually surrounded? I don't want to bluff. Let's knock. We'll follow protocol. The offender is caught, officers unharmed, and so they get a little better at their job. Da 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 da. Whoop whoop. We probably have time on this one. Send Purdy and Price, I guess. The offender was caught by Tsubaki and Kochi. That's another 10 professionality right there. And now we wait. We play the waiting cop game. Although we gotta work like all night, huh? Crazy stuff. The shift has been extended a little bit due to our current situation. When do we get paid? How do we make money? Can we like extort people? Like when we get the guy with the guitar and the money, if he gives us the money, do we let him go? Well, that's cool. It made a shutter sound when the darkness came. The offender escaped from Purdy and Price. Price can't physically get any worse at her job, so let's avoid sending Price on anything from now on. She's terrible, and we should be looking for any excuse to fire her. Apparently, that's the end of the day. If you think you'll need a couple extra hands tomorrow, you can order any cop to come in the next day and work overtime, but if they're working flat out, they'll be much more exhausted. Somebody's bound to make a mistake. Okay. Shift A looks like it's a little bit sketchier. Yeah, Shift A looks a little sketchier, I'm sorry, than Shift B. Although I suppose that would be an excuse for Shift B to get some practice in.
Used to be when I asked Kendrick to stay late at the office. He liked to grumble and crack wise. Nowadays, he doesn't have the strength for it. Slumped shoulders, blank stare, wrinkled skin. The past few weeks, I don't hardly recognize my old friend. In his younger years, he reminded me of a gallant royal officer in an old Kipling story. Kendrick isn't just crumbling under the weight of the public pressure, but from the shame of it all. Internal Affairs raided the library he inherited from his grandfather, hoping they'd find buckets of cash stashed in the pages. Heard about the look on his face. The fearless policeman standing helpless in horror. I've known Francis for 30 years. The past 20 years he's played loose with the law. And I know that at a certain point every stolen dollar brings more misery than anything else. Probably sounds crazy, but I sympathize with the guy. What can I do? Your friends are your friends, and these are the waters we swim in.
Called all of the people on that list today. Now they know you're in business, so you could get a call from any of them. You don't need to worry about any of them. I've cleared them all.
And what kind of business are we talking here?
It's nothing too serious, just like you asked. Should be just a few small favors. Payments will vary depending on the situation and who you're dealing with. How much are you looking to earn?
$500,000.
$500,000? Why not a whole million?
Because everybody wants to take $1 million. Figured I'd try something different.
$500,000 in 180 days? Well, you could earn it all above board if you netted all the big fish and hit all your bonuses.
Never knew you for a fisherman.
Well, you never got into my business, and I'm not trying to get into yours. But be careful about bringing in any other cops. Sooner or later, they'll put the finger on you. And one more thing, Jack. I remember what you said, but I should probably add one more name to that list. Christopher Sand.
Sand. Christopher G. Sand. Everyone knows the name, but few could tell you who he is. The old man stays away from the spotlight. Always wears old-fashioned jeans and knitted sweaters. Gives to charity. Rarely attends social events. An avid hunter, I hear. Even dabbles in poetry. You'd never guess he's the head of the oldest and most powerful gang in the city. Goes back as far as his great-grandfather. And Sand is strict about following the old rules. He rarely involves himself in commonplace murders and robberies. Hardly needs to intimidate anyone to get his point across. The people who work for him each have their sphere. They provide protection where needed, even work with the authorities when they want to make a deal. Meanwhile, Sand pulls the strings without getting his hands dirty. People sometimes mistake his quiet approach. A couple years ago, an arms dealer decided to expand its business without asking permission, and his whole family paid the price. In 4 weeks, Sand killed 31 people. Old men, women, even a few teenagers. And Sand's people made sure every paper reported it. Frank, I don't want to hear you say that name again.
Jack, please, listen to me. I'm in with these guys.
We agreed, Frank. That's not the kind of business I'm into. I don't go there. Never have, never will.
Surely you want to make some money, though. Right? My name is Splattercat. Thank you for joining me here. This is the police. It's kind of weird when you're like, this is it's hard because I had to say this is twice. All right, I'll see y'all next time. I like this game. I'm having a good time with it, so I'm glad I could bring it to the channel here. I will see you all in the next episode of This is the Police. How you do, everybody?